another edition of Drew's Comic Reviews, where I just take a random comic out of my collection, just kind of like just picking out of just like closing my eyes and picking one out, kind of is basically what I'm doing. But I've got a lot of comics, and I'm just taking one at random, and I go through and I, tell you what I think about it. And so this time, the comic I have is Batman, The Greatest Batman Stories Ever Told, Volume 2. And this is a real comic book. Now, when I say that, what do I mean? So normally a comic book that you get, kind of like Savage Dragon, it's, not really a book. It's really more of like kind of like a magazine. It's like thin like a magazine. But this is like actually a whole book, like a book like you'd get at the library. That's kind of what this is, and I think that's pretty cool. And so Volume 2 is so there's probably another one before it, which is crazy. And so Greatest Batman Stories Ever Told. And you see here we have Batman and the Penguin and Catwoman. And if you guys remember, movie Batman Returns with Tim Burton directed with Michael Keaton. Who was the villain in that? Penguin and Catwoman. So I'm thinking this might be probably where they got the whole idea to make that movie. It was probably this book. Now, when you go to the library, you get a book. What do? You open it up, and it's just a bunch of words. But this is actually, it's so cool. It starts off like that. It's like, okay, it's a book, just like any other book. It's a couple pictures, but then you keep flipping through, and look, it's actually it's a comic book inside of a regular book, which I think is just really cool. So inside, let's see, the first where it's actually the comic book and not just a regular book, is a pretty cool picture here of Batman, the Batman logo, and this says Batman with Robin, the Boy Wonder. Once more that eerie figure of the night, the Batman and his young aide, the laughing daredevil, that young Robin Hood of today, Robin. So it's a little kind of, it's cool that, it's another, if you guys remember Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner, you kind of wonder if maybe they saw that movie and decided, hey, Robin Hood, we're gonna anyway, wander themselves swimming in the troubled waters. A yacht sails a sea of intrigue, while aboard her deck lurks an unseen menace, a figure surrounded by an aura of mystery. So they said there's this yacht, and then there's another boat. Among the guests walks a steward, Dick Grayson, who is in reality Robin, the Boy Wonder. And so there's Robin, and he's pretending to be like a butler. And Bruce Wayne, the Batman, had read aloud this item in the newspaper. How does he come here? Why does he? So I think, so it looks like Batman, and now it's, I think this is Batman and Robin, and they're training, and he says, reading about that Travers yacht party, eh? It sure is getting a lot of publicity. Everyone knows about it. That's the trouble. Every crook in town will be thinking, oh, so this happened before. This is like going back. Okay, and like Batman and Robin are talking while they're exercising. Batman's smoking a pipe, and they're probably going to be like, "Oh, there's going to be a lot of like bad guys there, so we can go and we can pretend to be butlers and then fight them." So that's pretty tricky. So there's Robin. He's kind of hanging around. Oh, okay. Here's cat. Okay, keep your aunt away from room will be. I can't really read it, but it says the cat there, so it's gonna. Looks like we'll be seeing Catwoman. Now this isn't Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. This is a different one from the comic books. I mean, it's the same character, but she doesn't really look quite the same. I've seen some other pictures of Catwoman in the comic book, and it's a little different. Okay, I mean, this is a pretty long book, so obviously I'm not going to be able to go through the whole book. But I don't remember seeing Catwoman here. But I mean, it's a really long book. Like usually it takes a couple hours to read a comic book, so you can just buy, instead of buying a comic, or like it's kind of like a comic magazine. You can just buy a whole comic book, and it will probably take you like a year or so to read it all. So, I mean, it'd be the only comic you need. So, whatever this costs on eBay, I would say if you don't like buying stuff every week or something, and you like reading a lot of comic books, I would maybe recommend getting this one because it'll take you a long time to read, and you don't have to like always be ordering the books off of eBay. So, yeah, pretty cool. Here, maybe I'll show you a picture of the Penguin, and this kind of looks a lot like the Batman Dark Knight Collection Penguin that I remember having as a kid. So it's pretty cool. A little different than the Penguin from the movie. They probably said, "Hey, we don't want to make it too obvious that we're just using this book as what we're making the movie after, so we'll make a few changes." Which, I mean, I think that's smart. They probably didn't want to get sued by whoever made this comic book or real comic book. So yeah, Batman's Greatest Stories Ever Told, Volume 2. Yeah, you can probably Google it, find someone to buy it. Okay, so that's it for this time. Thanks.